Welcome to the You Are a Philanthropist podcast. Today we're talking with Dr. Ana Jimenez-Hami. Ana is the founder and executive director of the Orange County Children's Therapeutic Arts Center, a nonprofit 501c3 organization located in the city of Santa Ana that was founded in the year 2000.
You are the kind of person who wants to improve the lives of others, but you need to take pride in your everyday actions. You Are a Philanthropist believes that every act of goodwill deserves to be recognized as philanthropy. Each individual action you take impacts another's life. Believe that what you do makes a difference. So call yourself a philanthropist and start a ripple effect of generosity that boomerangs back to you. Go to youareaphilanthropist.com/shop. Style your outside to match your inside. Choose a t-shirt, hoodie, or bag to show how much you love giving to others. That's youareaphilanthropist.com/shop.
Hey y'all, I just want to remind you that I need you to subscribe, rate, and review to this podcast. If you're enjoying it and want more conversations like this and want to help people get more involved with philanthropy, please subscribe, rate, and review. I want to thank you to the people who have already rated this podcast 5 stars. Please click to rate it 5 stars. And here is some awesome reviews. I love hearing the different stories from a variety of people's personalities. We all can contribute with the strengths we have in making the world a better place for all of us to live in. Here's another one. I really enjoy this podcast. It's encouraging to see that I don't have to be a multimillionaire who created a philanthropic foundation to impact people. It's my small gifts of my time and resources that add up. I am a philanthropist. And here's another. There are opportunities all around at an early age to remind us to look out for each other. It's a lifelong journey of seeing the opportunities and acting in them. Thanks for a great reminder. Listeners, please do me a favor, subscribe, rate, and review right now so more people can hear more from us and learn more about philanthropy.
Welcome to the You Are a Philanthropist podcast with Jen Klein, a certified fundraising executive and philanthropic entrepreneur. This show is dedicated to empowering and inspiring you to make a difference in your community and our world. Jen believes all acts of kindness matter, and this show is designed to help you take pride in your everyday actions of improving the lives of others and making a change in the world. Now, here's Jen.
Ana, welcome to the show.
Thank you, Jen. I'm excited to be here.
I'm so glad you're here. You're on the opposite coast of me. I'm on the East Coast. You're on the West Coast. So we're on different time zones right now, but I'm so glad we connected. And I want to hear more about the Orange County Children's Therapeutic Arts Center.
Thank you, Jen. Well, to start, I have a lot of family and friends in the East Coast. So I'm going to let them know to check out your website.
Awesome.
Yeah.
Tell me how you got started with your nonprofit.
Yes. So I started the nonprofit organization 24 years ago in memory of my parents, Aidita and Freddy Jimenez. My parents were born in Puerto Rico, and so was I. And I learned philanthropy through the eyes of my dad, who's like my hero. And unfortunately, they experienced a tragic death in their life. And I was very heartbroken when this happened, that my parents, in Puerto Rico, it's just a group of not good people, criminal people, went into his business and they just killed everyone that was working there. It was a very horrible, horrible event that transformed my life into something good, because of course you can only do good things after tragic experiences like this. Hopefully everyone that has experienced loss in their life, they can take that and turn that around into something good. And that's what I did. I still get emotional when I think about it, but my parents were beautiful people, very humanitarian, like to help other children and families in Puerto Rico. And they taught us, my sister and I, they taught us the beauty of philanthropy, how to give back. Both my parents grew up in an environment that was, underprivileged, low income. They came from a poor family, and little by little, as my father became a successful businessman, he learned the importance of giving back to his community. He was so grateful to God that he had gotten, so much from this experience of, working hard and creating his own business, that when we became older and went to college, because he insisted us to go to college, because during his time, he could not go to college. So that was another important thing I learned from him. Education is knowledge, and knowledge is power. And so it's more powerful than money, if you think about it, because it opens your world, your knowledge, knowing so much. Education is very empowering. So he told us to study, to get your highest degree. And I came to United States to study. I came to Florida first. And as a college student, I would go to Puerto Rico every summer and to visit my family. And then he would take us to the very small rural areas in the island that had a lot of poverty and young children. We're talking, many years ago, but things have improved, but there's still some areas in rural areas that are still low income. And so I would bring my guitar, we would buy food, books, educational toys, and we would bring all of these things to the areas, to those rural areas, and the children were so happy. The parents were so happy. We would sing songs, read books. It was just a beautiful experience, and that really touched my heart. So I thought, oh my God, I want to be like my dad when I, finish college, and I want to do like him. I want to help other people in need and be of service to the community. So, I was just thinking, as soon as I graduate from college, I want to do something special. Well, before I started the nonprofit, I started doing some academic work because I was also attracted to teaching. So I did some teaching at the University of Puerto Rico when I went back. And then I decided to get my doctorate degree. So I came back to the United States, and in California, I decided to get my doctorate degree. And that's when it happened. That's when the unfortunate event happened, and my parents' life was taken away like this because of criminal people that just came to steal. My dad had created a very prosperous jewelry business, and he was very proud of his accomplishments, had hired a lot of people, and unfortunately, they just came to steal money. And I lost both of my parents, and about 30 years ago. And I thought to myself, okay, this is not the end of my life. I'm going to do something in their honor. So I started this nonprofit to honor them, because they were such beautiful people. And I thought to myself, one thing that I forgot to mention is I was sharing my story of going with my dad to the different rural areas, is that I noticed that the children that had the least were children with special needs. And that really broke my heart. And I saw the conditions in which they were living and not too many opportunities for the children. So I thought, maybe I can start this center in honor of my parents and do something special for children with disabilities. And sorry, I get so emotional.
Oh, no problem.
And that was my dream, to start this nonprofit in honor of my parents. And that's how I started it. I thought to myself, because I saw so much joy in the children and I saw them move and sing and dance when we brought them music, I thought to myself, maybe if I can start a therapeutic arts center to bring joy to the children with special needs and at the same time help them improve in all different areas of development, that children can grow stronger, healthier. And so that's how I came up with the idea of starting a nonprofit organization to provide arts, education, and therapeutic programs for children with special needs.
Wow. Oh, well, you almost caught me a cry there too. So much of what we've been talking about in this podcast is that there have been people who had role models like you have, who had difficult experiences and was able to rise above them and use them as fuel to do good in the world. So I'm really inspired by you and your parents, and I just love how you turned something so horrible into something so beautiful with your work today. And something that resonated with me as well is your parents bringing you as a child into the community to help others. And am I correct that there was no formal organization that they were a part of, that you just, out of the goodness of your hearts, participated in philanthropy just on your own?
That's correct. That's correct, Jennifer. Yes, I there was no formal organization. It was just my dad, myself, my sister. We would just go to the different areas and then just call the different centers or rehabilitation centers or even small clinics and just gather everything and bring it to them. Which, by the way, we did something similar, my husband and I, during the horrible hurricane that happened not too long ago. This big, huge hurricane. It's always important to be of service during difficult moments, but some families of low income, they're struggling throughout their life. And then so giving back to those that have less than we do is something that I try to practice in my daily life, especially here at the center, because majority of the families that we serve are low income. And so yeah, so it was not a formal group. It was just my family. We were just wanted to do it at least once or twice a year and choose different areas around the island that needed the most help.
That's beautiful. I love that.
Thank you.
The by definition, philanthropy means love of mankind, and
Yes.
just going out and practicing, everyday pleasantries, putting good into the world where you are, picking up that trash, a smile on your face,
That's
those
right.
types of things really lift people up, and what we need more in the world, especially today.
Exactly.
So I can really, it really touches me that your dad was so proactive and caring, and I can just hear what a good man he was. And I'm so sorry to hear about his loss.
Thank you.
Tell us what you enjoy about the work that you do today.
I love this organization because I love to see the smiles in the faces of the children. I just love them. I love to see them singing and picking up a violin or playing a piano piece that they could not do it before when they started. For example, we have, well, he's a teenager now, but let me give you an example. I'll give you several examples, but we have a student by the name of Cesar, And he's one of our rock stars because when he came to the center, and he's been with us for at least 10 years, but when he came to the center, his mom came because he wanted to learn how to play the violin. And again, he's a child with special needs. Not only does he have autism, but he's a pretty high functioning. Not only does he have autism, but he does not have one arm. So, but he still wanted to play. He wanted to learn to play the violin. So we gathered with the help of some students from the university. We created a prosthetic arm for him. And he was able, to hold the violin with his left prosthetic. Oh no, the arm that he has is the left. So with the right prosthetic arm, he's able to play the violin. Beautiful. That was a dream come true for him.
Wow.
And can you imagine every time I see him perform, it just warms my heart, right? And so we have so many stories like that. We have Roberto, who's been with us for almost, I think, close to 20 years now. And he also has autism, and he's amazing. But when he came to our center as a very young child, he was a baby. He started the program that we have, which is our early childhood or early start program, where we start with babies and the parents, and we do music and family literacy and just art and just fun stimulation when they're babies, right? So he started with that program when he started with us, and that's why it's so important for babies that have that are special needs, that have a disability, to start early in life. That early intervention is very, very important. So because he started so early, today I look at him, he is graduating. He's a senior in high school this year. He's amazing, unbelievable. We have, by the way, we have videos of both of these students on our website. The one thing about Roberto, which I love, and I just admire his mom so much because she's so dedicated, is that he has learned all of these instruments. He learned to play the viola, the piano. He learned also, I think, the harp. He's a natural actor. He does some acting also. And last year I had him be the MC for one of our events. He's
wonderful.
Talented. Amazing.
That's wonderful.
And last week we had our recital, and Roberto played a beautiful piece from Chopin.
Yes.
Amazing.
That's wonderful.
So those are the students that, if they start early, they can just do anything, as long as the parents are there supporting them. And it just brings so much joy to my heart when I see these students performing and succeeding academically. He's also got some academic honors, and it's just amazing. So I'm just so proud of them. That's what brings me joy.
Oh, I love that. Thank you for sharing those.
Sorry for the long answer.
No, thank you for sharing those special stories of people who are, passionate and dedicated and hardworking. I love hearing about the people that are enjoying your services. And can you tell us how you got started in 2000? That must have been challenging to start a nonprofit.
Of course. My husband and my kids were painting the walls with me. Oh. We got into a little building. Basically, I started by, of course, those, the steps that all founders go through. incorporating. I hired a nonprofit consultant to help me with all the paperwork. There's a lot of paperwork that you have to file to the state, to the IRS. And then we got our business license. And so we were incorporated in the summer of 2000. So that's the first step. As a nonprofit founder, you have to do all the paperwork first to make sure that you can receive donations. And then you have to, of course, once you do all that paperwork, and I started writing some grants and for capacity building. They're called capacity building grants, and we got some capacity building funds. And as part of the capacity building funds was to find the location. And I chose the city of Santa Ana because there's a lot of immigrants in the city of Santa Ana, a lot of families, interesting, diverse cultural backgrounds. We have a lot of Latinos in Santa Ana, but there's also a growing Vietnamese community, also Cambodian. It's an interesting mix. So I thought to myself, let's start this nonprofit in a city where there's more families in need. And the school district here in Santa Ana is one of the largest school districts in the nation. And so it's really huge, the Santa Ana Unified School District. And I thought, well, this seems to be a good city where I can start this nonprofit organization and serve, families in need, underserved, underrepresented, from diverse cultural backgrounds, limited financial immigrants, so that's why I chose Santa Ana. And basically, I was doing it all, Jennifer. I was teaching piano. I was the parent educator. I was the therapist. I was doing it all. Wow. And then I just started recruiting volunteers. That first year was mainly volunteers and myself, of course. And I continued to volunteer most of my time with the organization after 24 years, which I do it from my heart. But that first couple of years, if you don't have enough funds, of course, you have to utilize volunteers. So I was able to recruit a couple of angels that first year that helped me with starting art classes and starting music classes and doing parenting classes. And we started a lot of classes to teach parents in the community about how do I educate my child? How do I motivate my kid in school? How do we use the arts to motivate them to do better in school? How to integrate the arts with later success in life, and also therapeutic, because one of the things that not very many people understand, that the arts is not only for enjoyment. The arts can boost the self-esteem of children, but it's also a powerful and transformational tool to heal. Yeah. Children that cannot express through words, they can express through art, through music, through movement, in non-verbal ways. The arts is very powerful and very transformational. And I just don't think most people know that. And so,
right. We so often forget about the arts, and I know people cut back on funding for the arts. And
oh my God,
your reminder about how therapeutic it is and how wonderful it is much needed. And I'm glad that you mentioned it today.
Thank you, Jen. Thank you.
What would be your advice for someone who wants to make a difference in their communities, either by founding a nonprofit or doing work in their community?
Well, I have two important things to share. You don't need to start a nonprofit to help from your heart. You just need to identify where your heart is. What is your passion? If your passion is helping the homeless, you can help the homeless, and you can go and work at a nonprofit or volunteer at a nonprofit that helps homeless people. If your passion is the environment, you can join a nonprofit that is already in existence and help that nonprofit by volunteering, going, or you can go every weekend to the beach and pick up trash that people leave and things like that, or plastic. I mean, it depends on what your passion is and how to help, because there's so much help needed in this planet. There's so many things that we need to do to make this a better place, and so much need. So you don't really need to start a nonprofit. A nonprofit is a lot of work. And I mean, I don't regret starting the nonprofit. I know it's been a beautiful journey. It's a lot of work. It's like running a business with a lot less pay than a for-profit, you know? Yeah. So that also becomes a challenge too. By the way, there's a beautiful new movie called Uncharitable, which I recommend you looking into it, Jennifer, and anyone that's interested in the nonprofit world. Take a look at this beautiful film called Uncharitable. It's beautiful. And it talks about the struggles of nonprofit organizations and why is it that we put so much value in paying, you know, executives top dollars for a for-profit organization. But when you think about all the regulations for nonprofits, it is, you know, nonprofit can't compete with for-profit, but we can change the world. We can change the world, nonprofits. And so, again, if there's a big desire to start a nonprofit, okay, there's so many nonprofits already. Join a nonprofit and volunteer there and help, or just do anything from the goodness of your heart. And like we were doing, my family and I were doing, we were just going to those areas and bringing joy to the children and bringing food and toys, you know, and books and things like that to bring them joy and knowledge, right?
Yeah. Yes, that's beautiful. I'll make sure the Uncharitable movie link is in my show notes.
Yes.
And I want to thank you for the reminder about how important the nonprofit sector is. And that is why I like to amplify voices like yours to remind people we're out there. We need you. Let's get started. Let's join together. Let's be motivated to continue to improve the world, because like you said, there are so many challenges out there. It feels good to give. You know, I wrote my book, Giving is Selfish, which is centered around the helper's high, which is a scientifically proven benefit that when you help others, it feels good and it's healthy.
Yes.
You get a rush of endorphins, you get lower blood pressure, you can even live longer. It's and that's really why I want to amplify voices like you to remind people about how wonderful it is, not just for the beneficiaries, but also for yourself to be involved.
That's correct. That is so correct, Jennifer. It brings us joy to give from the heart to help others. Yeah.
Yes. So you mentioned that your family played a crucial role for inspiring you to get started, and you're inspired every day by the people who you serve in the programs. And I was wondering, what is your greatest source of inspiration? Is it those things you mentioned, or is there something else in addition to those?
For sure, my family, especially my dad, which I consider him my all-time hero of, you know, it has been my hero forever. And my husband also has been incredibly supportive throughout all these years. He's my second hero. But actually, my source of inspiration, as I said before, is seeing the kids, whether they're little or they're older, just seeing their accomplishments, that really inspires me. And parents, when they come back to me and they say, Dr. Anna, thank you, and they give me a big hug. If your organization has changed my son's life, when I hear those stories, of course I want to keep going, and it just brings me inspiration. And of course, I want to continue to give and inspire others to do the same in their own ways, right? Yeah. And what also inspires me a lot is if we are able to, let's say, for example, I gave you the example of Roberto, who's one of my favorite students of all time, because he's just so talented and so precious and so loving. This family is just amazing. Now, here is a single mom, a mother, that has raised those two kids by herself from pretty much a low income, community. And she's so incredible. I so admire her. When Roberto graduates and we're encouraging him to go to college, we are going to hire him so that he can be a teacher at our center where he grew up, and he learned music, art, dance, tutoring, and all of these things. We want him to be one of our future teachers. Won't that be amazing?
That would be a wonderful full circle moment.
Yes. So that inspires me too, seeing our participants come back as adults and doing something and giving back to their own community. So we also try to inspire them to do that, and we advocate for that also.
Beautiful. Can you kind of tell me two things? One would be kind of a professional vision and one would be a personal vision. But if you could tell me your vision for the Orange County Children's Therapeutic Arts Center for the future, as well as the vision for what the world could be a better place for.
Excuse me. Well, when it comes to the professional vision, I would love to see our organization find a home. Right now, we're 24 years, we still don't own our building. So I would love to find a place. I would love to find someone that could consider donating a space or funds for us so that we can cut down on our overhead, because right now we're spending money on rent. And so that would help us if we have that asset, right, of owning our own building. That could help us. But in addition to that, we could spread our wings and have satellites in other cities. For example, we're in Orange County, but we're away from LA. I have families coming from LA, and it just... Do you see what I'm saying? And it just saddens me because we don't have right now the infrastructure to have a satellite in LA, so they don't have to drive an hour to get here. Do you see what I mean? So I would love to spread our wings and have other satellites in other cities. And who knows, maybe, time will tell if we can, start in other states also. But again, that's something I really believe there's not enough therapeutic arts organizations like us. In fact, we're unique. In Orange County, we're the first and only nonprofit organization that does what we do. Yes. Basically. Wow. Yeah, and this is a big county, but we're the only organization that teaches music, art, dance in a therapeutic, as well as the arts education in a therapeutic, with therapeutic goals. And we integrate the counseling, the mental health. So we integrate our services, and we also serve all. We don't only serve children with special needs. We serve all kids, whether they have a special need or not, families from any walk of life, So I think that makes us very unique. And I would love to be able to inspire and teach other people to do something like this. If we cannot start other therapeutic art centers in other states, at least I can teach other people to start it in their own state. And that's not enough. There's not enough in United States. This is sort of like a hidden treasure, I would say, that the arts is treated more for performances, but not in a therapeutic way, or you see what I'm saying, for healing. And I think that has a lot of power in if we were able to inspire more people to replicate this mission. I would love to support their efforts that way.
That's beautiful. I think it's so important that you set that intention and you bring it out into the world and say, this is the vision and this is what I'm hoping we can accomplish. And I believe there's listeners out there who can share this podcast episode with their friends and family and make sure that people hear about the work you're doing, the benefits of arts programming. And hopefully there's someone out there who can call you up, like look in the show notes and say, I'm that person. I want to start this in my town. And that is my goal for this podcast.
Oh, I would love to support them and give them advice. And, I wish I had that person in my life. I didn't. I literally started everything not having any background on nonprofits, but I've learned a lot throughout the years, right?
Yeah.
So anyhow, you also asked about my personal vision. One day when I can retire and not have to be here every day, because pretty much I'm working every day full-time as a full-time volunteer for this organization. So I'm still very busy and very active. One day when I'm not physically here, I will continue to support the board of directors of our organization, because that's always, this is my baby. I started this, so I will continue to donate my time and funds to this organization. But in addition to that, my husband, who's a physician, a doctor, he's a pulmonologist, we've talked about when we both retire, we'd love to go and travel to different countries that have a need for service, and something like a similar, the vision of Doctors Without Borders, where they go to different countries and they provide the service. So we had an incredible experience when in Puerto Rico, when the Hurricane Maria, it devastated the island, and many, many people without homes, without food. Many people died, and we went there 2 weeks and we provided our service. And my husband, as a physician, was there, to provide his support, his medical expertise, and I was there to support the families with emotional support and anything that they needed. That really is something that I would love to do. Every year, choose a different country and go and travel and help the world. I think that if each of us could do something like that, would this be a better world where we're helping each other?
Oh, I just love that.
Yeah, and I look forward to that, because I think, first of all, my husband and I love to travel, and we love to learn about different cultures and different countries. And, we've traveled a lot, but there's countries we haven't been to. And I would love, as when we retire, we're going to go to some of these countries that we haven't been to and stay there 2-3 months, and then do community service, not
Yeah.
just travel, just be there, get to know the people, the culture, and do something to help that country and learn from that. We
Yes.
sometimes, I feel, because I feel that the more you learn about other cultures, the more you open your mind to understanding the differences, and there's more empathy for
Yes.
differences in this world. That's what we need. We need a one planet. This is one planet. We are so divided, especially now during this time that there's wars and everything. If we could be more empathetic to peace, to let's come together in
Unity.
peace, in unity, in the one love, right? One planet.
Yeah.
That's my personal vision.
Wow. I am so touched by that. Personally, I've traveled abroad. My husband is European, so I totally am in sync with you about cultural experiences and how important that is. And I got to do some fundraising in Asia. I got to study abroad. I have traveled with my husband, so I've done a lot of travel myself and really enjoy that. But you've challenged me to look into volunteer programs as well. There are opportunities out there, and I'm going to challenge myself to look into some of them and put them in the show notes as well.
All right. That's awesome. Yeah, because, again, when we travel short term, it's harder because, if you have to come back to work, you don't have enough time in that country to do volunteer work. But once you're not working and you're retired and you can travel and stay there longer, why not? If you have so much, I feel like I do feel blessed. I have a beautiful family. I have a wonderful husband that's so supportive. Why not, when you travel, visit the country, stay longer, and do something good for humanity and do something there that you can. And so, so hopefully we can do that someday.
Oh, that's a beautiful vision, and I share it with you. And I thank you for touching me and my listeners today with your story. Can you tell us how we can find you on the internet? And I'll put it in the show notes as well. But I want to make sure my listeners learn more about you and your work with the Orange County Children's Therapeutic Arts Center.
Thank you, Jen. So I can write it down on the chat, the phone number.
Great.
The website for our agency is www.OCCTAC.org. And those
Right.
are the initials for the Orange County Children's Therapeutic Arts Center. The telephone number for our organization is 714-547-5468. And if there's anyone interested in starting a nonprofit that utilizes the arts as a performing, but more as therapeutic or healing, you're welcome to call my cell phone number 714-296-2191. If there are any earth angels out there that would like to contribute to our nonprofit, and have any important contacts that can help us realize our dream of having our own building, please call my cell phone number at 714-296-2191.
Great. And I'll have those in the show notes. Anna, thank you so much for coming today.
Oh, you're very welcome. And thank you. And you know what? I forgot to put my email, which you have it, right? So you can share my email too.
Excellent. Yes, I want my listeners to contact you and chat more, and so they can support you, and you are so generous in wanting to support the arts therapeutic programs in other locations as well. Thank you, Anna.
Jennifer. Thank you for inviting me. It was my pleasure, my honor to be here, and you're doing such beautiful work too. So thank you for the invitation, and hope to talk to you soon again.
Yes, absolutely. Have a great day.